There is a moment every southern summer has in it. You step off the hot sand into the shallows, the water closes over your feet, and the relief is so complete that you stop thinking entirely. The Gulf at Galveston, the flats off Sanibel, the mangrove channel behind the Keys, the Brown Creek in East Texas where the current goes slow and warm. You stand there up to your knees, and the water is bath temperature, and it holds you, and it asks nothing of you. That is the feeling this whole list is about, because almost every creature you are about to meet depends on it. These are not the animals with teeth. Nothing on this list will chase you, or circle you, or break the surface to let you know it is there. Every one of them kills or maims with chemistry instead: a barb, a spine, a harpoon, a microscopic capsule that fires venom faster than a nerve can carry the signal. And nearly all of them are in water that southerners wade into by the millions without a second thought. Today, we are counting down 11 venomous creatures swimming in American southern waters, ranked not by which venom is strongest, but by how little warning you get before it is already in you. Number 11, you can see coming a mile off. Number 1, you will never see at all because it is underneath your feet right now, and it has no reason to move. By the time we reach it, you may never wade in past your knees again. Before we start counting down, if this is the kind of thing that lives in the back of your mind at the beach, go ahead and subscribe. It takes 2 seconds and it genuinely helps the channel. And I want to know one thing while you are here. Where in the world are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments. Gulf Coast or landlocked, I love seeing how far this reaches. Now let's get into the water. Number 11, the lionfish. We begin with the only creature on this list that is honest with you. The red lionfish advertises, it is banded in white and rust and burgundy, it trails long feathery fins like a Victorian collar, and it moves so slowly through the water that it looks less like a fish than a decoration. Everything about it says, "Look at me." That is a warning label, and it is not a bluff. A lionfish carries up to 18 venomous spines along its back, belly, and sides. Full coverage, every angle. A jab delivers venom causing intense pain, swelling, sweating, and in worst cases headache, nausea, numbness, and respiratory trouble. And it should not be here at all. Native to the Indo-Pacific, it escaped into Atlantic waters through the aquarium trade and now infests the reefs, jetties, wrecks, and rig structure from the Carolinas through Florida and across the Gulf, eating native reef fish with almost nothing to check it. It takes 11 because of the criterion. Of everything on this list, the lionfish is the one that tells you. It is gaudy, it is slow, it is unmistakable, and it still gets people because a diver reaches past it or a spearfisher grabs it wrong. The most warning any creature here gives you, and it is still not enough. Number 11. Number 10. The Hardhead and gafftop sail catfish. Now the warning gets quieter because number 10 is the one you are already holding. The hardhead catfish and its cousin, the gafftop sail, are so common in southern bays and brackish water that anglers treat them as garbage. Something you shake off the hook with a curse and never think about again. Both of them are venomous. The single spines leading the dorsal and pectoral fins are long, needle-sharp, sheathed in venom-producing tissue, and the fish can lock them rigid at will. A wave rocks the boat, a hand slips, and that spine goes deep into a palm or a finger. What follows is burning pain, swelling that can climb past the elbow and finish your day, and a puncture wound so prone to infection that doctors routinely reach for antibiotics and a tetanus shot. If the barb snaps off inside, it comes out surgically. Across the Gulf Coast, these dismissed little catfish put thousands of people in emergency rooms every year. Number 10 earns its place on the criterion because the warning is there, the spine is visible, the fish is in your hand, and nobody reads it. The danger isn't hidden, it's just been decided against. That decision is the theme of this entire list. Number 9. The long-spined sea urchin. Stay in the shallows, but now stop looking at your hands and look at the bottom. Except the bottom is where the warning goes to die. The long-spined sea urchin sits on reef crests and rock ledges and turtle grass from South Florida through the Gulf in 10 to 20 feet of water, and it is genuinely visible, a black pincushion with spines that can grow 4 times the width of its own body. Those spines are hollow, brittle, needle-fine, and they carry a mild venom. Step on one or brush a ledge with a bare hand, and they punch in and snap off, injecting as they go. The sting causes intense pain, numbness, and swelling that radiates well beyond the wound, and the fragments are notoriously hard to extract, often requiring a doctor and antibiotics to head off infection. The urchin is not hunting anyone. Its spines exist entirely to be unpleasant to touch. It ranks 9th because the warning is technically available and functionally useless. Yes, you could see it in clear water in daylight if you happen to be looking down at the exact moment you put your foot somewhere. Nobody does. Number 9. Number 8. The Cottonmouth. Now we do something this list has to do exactly once, and this is the entry that inverts the whole idea. Because the Cottonmouth is the one creature here that will genuinely, deliberately, unmistakably warn you. It is the only venomous water snake in North America, and it lives across the wetlands, swamps, drainage ditches, slow streams, and lake edges of the South, the water people fish, swim, and wade every summer. Its venom is hemotoxic, the kind that destroys tissue and causes severe swelling and bleeding, and a serious bite is a real medical emergency. But before it ever bites, it does the thing it is named for. It plants itself, pulls its head back, opens its jaws wide, and shows you the startling cotton-white lining of its mouth. That is a billboard. It means leave. So why is a snake that warns you on a list about striking without warning? Because the warning gets thrown away. The South is full of harmless water snakes that look enough like a cottonmouth that locals blur them all into water moccasins. And the reverse mistake, waving off a real cottonmouth as one of the harmless ones, is exactly what puts fangs in an ankle. Texas Parks and Wildlife notes that cottonmouths make up only about 7% of the state's snake bites. The snake is not the problem. The problem is a creature that shouts, and a species that has trained itself not to hear it. Number 8. Number 7. The bearded fireworm. From here down, the warnings stop. Number 7 does not display, does not rattle, does not gape. It just lies there looking like nothing at all. The bearded fireworm is a marine bristleworm native to the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, and at a glance in the water it reads as algae, or debris, or a scrap of something washed loose. Along its flanks are bundles of white bristles, and they are the entire point. Fine, hollow, glass-like, and loaded with neurotoxin. They break off in skin at the lightest contact and keep delivering. The name is literal. Victims report intense burning and itching for around 3 hours, and depending where you are hit, sensitivity can linger for weeks and they wash in. In recent years, the Hart Research Institute for Gulf of Mexico Studies has warned Texas beachgoers after fireworms turned up on Gulf beaches, riding in on drift logs crusted with gooseneck barnacles. Picture that. A child picking through the interesting things on the tide line, reaching for what looks like a bit of colorful seaweed. Number 7 belongs to the creature that looks like litter. Number 6, the cone snail. We are right at the halfway point, and if you have made it this far, you clearly want to know what is actually in the water with you. So hit subscribe if you haven't yet, because the top 5 is where the warnings disappear completely. Because number 6 is a seashell. The cone snails living on Florida's reefs and flats produce some of the most beautiful shells in American waters. Glossy, patterned, cone-shaped, exactly the kind of thing you pick up and put in your pocket. and every single member of the family is venomous. Every one carries a harpoon, a hollow, barbed, modified tooth fired from an extendable proboscis, driving a cocktail of conotoxins into whatever it hits, fast enough to paralyze a fish mid-swim. Let's be careful and honest here, because credibility matters more than a scare. Florida's cone snails are not the Indo-Pacific killers. The species responsible for human deaths live an ocean away, and there is no anti-venom for any of them. But the guidance from Florida Shell Guides is blunt, and it does not carve out exceptions. Never pick up a live cone snail, no matter the species. The strike is a harpoon fired from something you thought was a souvenir, and it happens in the palm of your hand. Number 6. Number 5, the Portuguese man-o'-war. Number 5 gives you a warning, and the warning is a lie, because what you can see is not the part that hurts you. Riding the wind onto southern beaches, especially in spring, comes a small iridescent balloon in blue and violet and pink, sitting bright on the surface. That float is the whole of what most people register. Trailing beneath it are tentacles that average around 30 feet and can extend past 100 feet, nearly invisible in moving water, armed with microscopic capsules that fire barbed venom threads on contact. You are stung by a creature whose body is somewhere else entirely, 30 feet away, still sailing. And it does not stop when it dies. A man-o'-war, beached on the sand, deflating, obviously finished, stings exactly as hard as a live one. The capsules are mechanical and they stay loaded. Galveston's beach patrol treats a steady run of stings each season and flies purple flags to signal stinging life in the water, and emergency room doctors describe the pain as the kind that drops grown adults to their knees. The man-o'-war ranks 5th because it teaches the wrong lesson. You look at the float and think you know where the animal is. You do not. Number 5. Number 4, the spotted scorpionfish. Now the creature stops floating and starts disappearing. The spotted scorpionfish is regarded as one of the most venomous fish in the Atlantic Pacific, and it lives on reef and rocky bottom from Bermuda down through the northern Gulf of Mexico. It is 7 to 14 inches of mottled, tasseled, textured camouflage, and it does not swim away when you approach. It cannot. Its entire survival strategy is being a rock. Along its dorsal fin are spines fed by venom glands running in grooves down each side, and the venom releases on penetration. Accounts of the pain run from a bee sting to what victims describe as unbelievable agony, with dramatic swelling. It is generally not fatal. Heat breaks the venom down. The standard treatment is water as hot as a person can stand. But here is the detail divers pass around. Those spines are sharp enough to go through wetsuit material. There is no gear answer to a fish you cannot see. Number 4. Because the scorpionfish has removed the warning entirely, it is not hiding under the sand or drifting past. It is sitting in the open, in plain sight, being invisible. You put your hand on it. Number 3. The upside-down jellyfish. Number 3 does not need to touch you at all. This is where the list stops being about creatures and starts being about water. In the mangrove channels and warm sheltered lagoons of Florida and the Keys lies the upside-down jellyfish, Cassiopeia, a jellyfish that spends its life inverted on the bottom, arms up, looking like a patch of ruffled seagrass. It has no long, trailing tentacles, and for over a century, snorkelers and fishermen in those waters reported something they could not explain, a burning, itching sting on any exposed skin, with nothing anywhere near them. They called it stinging water. In 2020, a team from the Smithsonian, the University of Kansas, and the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory solved it. The jellyfish releases clouds of mucus, and inside that mucus are thousands of self-contained balls of stinging cells, which the researchers named cassiosomes. They spin, they swim, they hunt on their own, they can kill small prey, and NOAA notes they hold together and stay capable for up to 10 days, meaning the water can sting you long after the jellyfish that made it is gone. Read the criterion again. Not a bite, not a barb, not even contact. Number 3 is water that stings, drifting in a channel with nothing in it at all. Number 2, the four-handed box jellyfish. Now we come to the one that breaks people, because most Americans are certain box jellyfish are an Australian problem. They are not. There are box jellies native to the Gulf of Mexico, and the one to know is Chiropsalmus quadrimanus, the four-handed box jelly which Texas fishermen call the sea wasp. It is documented from the Carolinas through Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. And it is nearly perfectly designed for this list. A cube-shaped bell about 5 inches across, colorless, transparent, a pane of glass in brown Gulf water with tentacles trailing from each of its 4 corners that reach 10 to 13 feet. There is nothing to see. There is no float on the surface, no shadow, no shape. It occupies water that looks completely empty because to your eye, it is. And the venom is not a nuisance. Box jelly stings are among the most severe envenomations known, causing immediate, overwhelming pain. In 1990, a 4-year-old boy died after being stung by this species at Galveston Island, within about 40 minutes. Handled with the restraint the case deserves. It is one documented death, and these animals do not seek anyone out. But it happened in American water, on a Texas beach families still fill every summer. Number 2 goes to the creature that gives you nothing at all to look at. And still, it is not number 1. Number 1, the stingray. And so we arrive at number 1, and it is the stingray, and it is number 1 for the reason that runs under this entire list. Not because its venom is the worst, because the South has decided it does not count. Every warm, shallow flat from Texas to Florida has stingrays in it. They lie flat and bury themselves in the sand, working sediment over their bodies until nothing shows but their eyes, in exactly the murky, knee-deep, bath-warm water people wade by the millions. And they are not somewhere out there in the ocean. The Atlantic stingray has established the only permanent freshwater population of any shark or ray in all of North America, in Florida's St. Johns River, a venomous ray living full-time in freshwater, hundreds of miles of it where nobody expects an ocean animal to be. The strike is pure reflex. A foot comes down, and the tail whips up and drives in a spine that is grooved along both sides with venom producing tissue and serrated backward along its edges, so it tears coming out and frequently leaves fragments behind. The result is immediate escalating pain, a jagged wound, surgery to retrieve the barb, and infection risk on top. It is what killed Steve Irwin in 2006, a defensive reflex from an animal that was not hunting anyone. But look at what the South actually did with this information. It did not stop waiting. It invented a dance, shuffle your feet, slide them along the bottom, never lift and step, the Texas shuffle, the Stingray shuffle, taught by fathers to children on the flats, an entire folk ritual built around the fact that the ground you walk on is armed. That is the purest version of everything on this list. Not fear, not avoidance, a habit absorbed so completely that people perform it without ever finishing the thought at the end of it. I am doing this because there is a venomous animal buried under my feet, and it will not move, and I will never see it. So here is what this list is really about, and it is not 11 animals. It is one shape, repeating across the whole American South, the Gulf beaches of Texas, the mangrove channels of the Keys, the reefs off Sanibel, the bays of Alabama and Mississippi and Louisiana, the blackwater rivers of Georgia and East Texas, a freshwater river in the middle of Florida with rays living in it year-round. Every one of those waters holds something that answers contact with chemistry, and almost none of them announce it. The lionfish is the exception that proves it, the one creature that bothers to warn, and it still gets people. Not fear. Fear is loud, and it burns off fast, and by tomorrow you will be back at the beach. It is the quiet part underneath. The barb is still buried in the sand. The tentacle is still 30 feet from the float. And somewhere in a warm mangrove channel with nothing in it at all, the water itself is still stinging, 10 days after the animal that made it drifted away. What is certain is that the water is the same water whether or not you are looking at it, that it gives up nothing to the eye, and that the flat, bright, bath-warm surface of every bay and flat and channel in the south tells you almost nothing. Nothing at all about what is holding still underneath it, waiting the way it has waited since long before there was anyone here to wade in and call it empty.